Thank you very much, Zoe. Now, running until the 10th of December, the Artscape will be presenting Sacredspace. This production showcases 3 dance pieces that have all enjoyed international success. And the show will run until, as I said, Saturday, the 10th of December, and tickets are between 130 and 200 Rand. And we're chatting this morning to Artistic Director Debbie Turner to find out more about this production, which I think is wonderful. Always great to be speaking about new things happening at the theatre. And Sacredspace, a production that you and your team brought together. Debbie, where did the idea of this come about, and exactly what can people expect to see when they go and watch Sacredspace?
Well, the Cape Dance Company does a season at the Artscape Theatre every December, November, December, this time of the year. There are 3 works, as you said, in the programme, 2 of which have been danced before in South Africa, both at the Grahamstown Festival, the Car in in Johannesburg, at the Joburg Theatre. And then, of course, we brought it back due to popular demand because we premiered it in March. So we have a work called 1,000 Shepherds, which closes the programme. We have a very, very popular work, which we've had in our repertoire for a long while, called Enemy Behind the Gates, and then a world premiere of a work called Cliff Notes by a South African choreographer. Her name is Andrea Shermely, and she is South African born and trained and raised, but lives in America.
Yeah, we're seeing some of the beautiful shots of...
That's Enemy Behind the Gates.
Absolutely beautiful. So when it comes to curating these pieces, how do you decide on which one makes the final cut into these 3 that you've chosen?
Well, a repertoire of any dance company is quite extensive, and it's important that a program is well balanced and that there's something for everybody. So, for example, 1,000 Shepherds is a very, very spiritual piece. It was motivated by a 9-month stay in an ashram in India by our Spanish choreographer, Jose Agudo, but built a spiritual life story through 37 minutes of a work. It starts off quietly, it gets quite intense and aggressive in the beginning, and then it ends with resolution. So you could read it, for example, as a life story or a portion of your life.
Wow.
It is, as I said, spiritual, and so it evokes a lot of emotion in people. Enemy Behind the Gates is what we call fast and furious. It's very, very high energy, high paced. It was inspired by security in airports and by the choreographer who spends half his life in airports.
Yes.
And particularly, he was in Israel one day and was surrounded by security that would exist in an airport, which is a part of our lives today, and wrote a ballet about that, inspired, you know, by that very, very thought. Oh, so there we go. That's yes, very, very dramatic shot in the opening and the beginning, and then Cliff Notes in the middle is a very poignant, romantic, soft work that I know is about bubbles or elements of the choreographer's recent life. She spent her life dancing professionally in cities around the world, and the word Cliff Notes is a name given to sort of study notes in the States. You know, a study aid that you get, you know, instead of reading Hamlet, you get the study notes. Well, a Cliff Note in America is exactly that. You know, give me the inside edge on Cape Town.
There we go. Well,
so that's what it's inspired by.
Thank you very, very much. Well, I mean, I'm sorry we've run out of time, but I just hope that that people that have not been to the theatre do take a time during this theatre season to go and see some of our wonderful productions and maybe get to experience all of those emotions that you were talking about, that, of course, you can see at Sacredspace, which is now on at the Artscape in Cape Town, and it runs until Saturday, the 10th of December. And tickets, as I said, range between 130 and 200 Rand, so do make sure that you don't miss out. But do stay tuned, because after the break, we'll be treated to a snippet of their performance.